one of the things you will see there is structure and protocol. And a lot of the structure and protocol is built around the president. No, they build it around the president because you know what? You lose the president, Ghana is in chaos. But go to our churches, what do you see? There is no kind of structure around our pastor whatsoever. And the churches that try to build protocol around their pastor, we call them proud. And they say, why are you treating your pastor like a god? He's not a god, but he's a mouthpiece of God. Without him, our lives will be jeopardized in many ways. You ask the worldly people, don't you do the same for your stars? The other day, I listened to two musicians were fighting, worldly musicians. They were having an argument. I was on Ghana Web and I saw one of them was replying to the other one. So I decided to listen to what he had to say. When I listened to that worldly singer, his name is Stonebwoy or something. How many of you have heard the name? Stone. Yeah, I know. Don't pretend you don't know the name. I listened to Stonebwoy. I called my daughter Wejewo Abo, Dr. Wejewo Abo, Pat. I said, get me the number of that young man. I want to call him. I want to call him and tell him he's a very intelligent man. Because I listened to the man and it was almost as if I was listening to a professor from a university at that young age. So I told myself, there are intelligent people like this in Ghana, blessed people like this in Ghana. God has given them gifts and skills, but our problem is we don't know how to protect them. We don't encourage them, we rather destroy. The only time you see us take them serious is when we hear that somebody is dead. The other day they did the funeral of His Excellency Kofi Annan and they laid him in state. And many people went there and they were disappointed because they said they didn't see the body. I'm like, when he was alive, did you see the body? When he was alive, did you ever go to greet him? Now you want mortal remains to view. Did you ever send him a letter of encouragement, a text to encourage him? Did you ever send him a card on his birthday? Did you ever send him a card on his wedding anniversary or something? You ignore the person until the person passed. And you want to view the mortal remains. But when the live body was walking about, you didn't care. One of the things the world is busy doing to us is to let us feel guilty for taking care of the women of God and the men of God God gives to us. But you see, they are the ones that carry the anointing we need. They are the ones that carry the word of God. We have the word of God. We have the anointing. No problem. The body carries the anointing. The body has the grace. It's just like my body. My body has blood. But if you cut off my head, the blood in the body will only begin to clot, coagulate. My body will begin to decompose. Because this, my body, all by itself, cannot operate. And if you cut off my head, the brain is gone. So even the heart cannot pump the blood anymore. May the Lord help you to take care of an anointed person around you. I remember last year when mommy had a challenge with her body. I prayed to God. I said, God, this is Nanao. I don't see how I can live without this woman. Other things have happened to me, I've survived, not this one. Please. Please. Listen. The anointing is contained in earthen vessels. And Jesus never said we should ignore preachers. We should insult them and not take care of them well. Now, you imagine for once, I decide that the rest of Love Revolution campaign, I won't attend. Tonight, I'm not coming. Tomorrow, I won't be here. Mommy will not be here. What are you going to do with this space? You say God will call another person. It's not easy like that. How many times in your life do you see somebody come from Bogatanga and come and be risking stuff like this in Accra? That should tell you all the human beings in the world, they are human beings, but their weights and their purposes and God's intention for them is not the same. It's not the same. In fact, whenever I'm going to do a convention, like very soon, Prophet Nanase will come to Bogatanga. I think he's there the first week of October. I am more interested in Prophet Nanase coming than I am in the decoration of the hall, publicity, and so on and so forth. Because you see, a human being I'm bringing who is a carrier of the anointing is the focus. Is the focus. That is the concentration. So Jesus sent his disciples, and I'm looking at something on page 40 to talk about structure. The structure and the protocol we need in order to keep anointed people. Keep an anointed wife, keep an anointed husband, keep an anointed church member, keep an anointed singer. Like Mavis, we have to keep her for a long, long time. Pastor Yao Inchidazi, we have to keep him for a long, long time. These are anointed people. You don't get people like that easily. They don't come easy. Keep Moses for a long time. People like that are not easy to come by. Look at the way Madam Chair has been a blessing to this Love Revolution campaign. Every year she's chairing this thing. And the other day I told her, you are really a blessed lady, because we could have made another person the chair and the thing will collapse. She will break herself, break the chair, and even break the table in addition. No, you attempt making a Confucianist the chairperson of your thing and you'll be in trouble. 1 Corinthians 14:40, it says, let all things be done decently and in order. And these 12 Jesus sent forth. And I'm reading Matthew chapter 10, verse 5 to 15. And these 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into the city of the Samaritans enter ye not. So Jesus is sending his disciples, and even the commission has structure. I'm sending you to only the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But don't go to the Gentiles, and don't go into any of the city of the Samaritans. Sometimes you meet people and they tell you, man of God, why don't you go to this church? Why don't you come here? Why don't you go there? Why don't you go there? Why don't you go there? Why don't you go to this city? Also our town, we need you there by force. But God didn't send me there. Even where you go has structure. Protocol. God doesn't call you to everybody. God doesn't call you to everybody. But go ye rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And as you go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely you have received, freely give. Then he said, provide neither gold nor silver nor brass in your purses, nor yet scrip for your journey, neither yet two coats, neither shoes, nor yet staves. For the workman is worthy of his meat. And into whatsoever city or town you shall enter, inquire who is worthy, and there abide until you depart thence. And when ye come into any house, salute it. And if the house be worthy, let your peace come upon it. And if it be not worthy, let your peace return to you. And whatsoever And whosoever shall receive you or hear your words, when you depart, whosoever shall not receive you or hear your words, when you depart out of that city or house, shake off the dust of your feet. Verily I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city. I tried to check the meaning of the word worthy. And worthy means to be deserving, suitable, or due reward. Deserving, suitable, or due reward. He said, when you go into any city, I want you to stay in a house that is deserving of that spiritual, mental, or emotional and material blessing that such apostolic visits bring. Anybody who receives an evangelist in your house, you receive a blessing. So when you enter any city, ask who is worthy and stay there until you leave. Don't stay in just any house. Choose a house that is worthy. So when it comes to God sending his people, he said, into whatever house or city. That means even a city must be worthy of the visitation of a man of God. That is why he said, were there not widows, many widows in Israel, but unto none of them was Elijah sent, except the widow of Zarephath. Listen, anytime you receive a man of God into your life, either as a friend, as your pastor, somebody who visits you, somebody who stays in your house, you should know that God has counted you worthy to be identified with such a person. God has considered, listen, God calculated it, God thought about it, God looked at your nature, God put everything around you and said, you are worthy to receive the man of God or receive the woman of God.